And it's going to be Penta on defense first. Chaos will start on attack because of that, and we'll start the bans right off. Now, bans for Coastline are always going to be very different from many of the other maps, like Clubhouse, for example. I'm guessing Nomad's going to find her way into getting banned on this map. I would imagine that would be a really powerful operator to have and something that people just don't want to deal with, but maybe not. We'll see.
Penta will ban Dokkaebi. Now keep in mind, this is the exact same map that these two teams played on in week 4.
No.
It was actually a Ying ban coming out as well, means that it's 2 entirely different attacker bans. So Penta banned Glaz and Chaos banned Montaigne the last time these two teams fought here. It's going to be a Dokkaebi and a Ying, though. Valkyrie is also very different because it was a Maestro ban and a Mira ban on defense. So far, there has been no crossover. Penta has the very final ban. Will we see a Mira also be banned out? And it will be a full day without our Spanish operator? Indeed it shall. There you go. Say goodbye to Mira. At least for today.
Typical of Europe to get rid of the Mira. And a whole day at that, like you said. That's going to really boost up her ban rate. We'll be loading straight in here. And, well, the Ying ban makes a lot of sense, obviously, with the Hungry in play.
The Hungry in play.
The Hungry, yes.
Often synonymous with Ying.
Yeah, that's why the Hungry. Yes. It's his operator. And Dokkaebi, just an annoying operator to deal with. So none of that going to be here. I think those phone calls are also probably more effective on a map like this. Because of that, though, Nomad will probably be played most rounds. No IQ, though, which is curious from Secretly. He's going to be 6-picking away from that. That means the gadgets from the defense are going to be a little bit safer. Yokai drones as well. That's really big. The fact that Echo does not have an IQ to rival him, quite significant, and it's going to help Penta with their denial. We're going for double bar first. Not surprising. Some people consider this to be actually one of the best maps, or rather best, well, actually, yes, best maps, but also this specific site to be one of the best sites, but less attention is paid to it. Most teams would prefer to usually go to Hookah or Kitchen, but double bar is good if you can coordinate it well. That's a big if, though. A lot of teams struggle here on defense.
Was it the NIP phase match that we saw where there was no IQ that was ran at all at the Invitational?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Critical of that Ninjas in Pajamas were not running a single IQ to thwart the amount of electronic operators that were available on defense.
It seriously hurt them.
And present on defense. And it was a almost fatal blow.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that same mistake is committed here. This map does have a lot of narrow doorways and narrow engagements, so once again, there you go. There goes an air jab. It won't be too much of a surprise to see maximum value get applied here from the Nomad of Secretly.
Yeah, Nomad has proven herself to be a really powerful operator, but it's kind of a shadow power and something that you don't really, it's not amazingly apparent all the time to everyone.
Revan comes very close to being able to open things up with the first minute off the board here in round number 1. And it's a double bars defense for Penta. They have a clash on the board in enemy's hands. Just maybe try and stop the rising tide of Chaos as they circle in towards the main doors. But for the time being, Chaos have not taken a wealth of map control. Coastline, one of the few maps where a hard breacher is not a necessity, but it will still be Chaos bringing in the hands of Red Groove as the Hibana, and there goes one of those Yokai drones. So you might not need an IQ, but if you've got a capable Twitch, then that is what you need. As Renewals will be playing on that Twitch, who has a very good gun in that F2, but also the gadget to be able to take out those electronics that are present.
Well, kitchen control just given away here by Penta. I don't see a point clearly in holding it for any longer. Yokai drone far from the site, and the other one, as you said, destroyed. So that's going to be some utility that Penta would likely need when it comes to the actual push. And he goes for a spray towards Aqua. Not going to find any shots, though. I have no idea what he was aiming at since I couldn't see it. Shield back out. And he's just going to keep switching around. Looking to hold on to the top floor to deny that vertical control. The Chaos seem kind of focus on the South office take. Renewals is going to get the first kill onto Ravon. Enemy challenging him using the shield, but no kill going to come to either player as a non-lethal shield.
Keep in mind that if enemy does pursue, there's an air jab above the doorway into luggage that will knock Clash off of her shield. Pressure will now come in with 30 seconds to go, and all the attackers still upright. Enemy is so low on HP, as a couple members of Chaos will also lose some health in the process. Blast has been tagged in to take out secretly, and down goes the Nomad. So see a toxic canister go out, pings going in. Red group falls off, that's 2 for Blast, who's above and will just persist for the time being. The Clash doing a great job at shutting everybody down, but Chaos comes out of nowhere with 2. It's Blast above, who will be tasked with possibly stopping the defuse from going down. He's getting the marks. Can he aim?
What?
No, you need to go for it, Blast, and he'll down him at the last second. Good calls and good coordination as Penta at the last second stopping the sledge in his tracks. And Penta will take round number 1 in an absolutely chaotic environment.
Confusing moment there. Blaz managed to prevail. Good for him, making it work. The round overall from Penta was oddly set up. They had a lot of focus put on that vertical presence. There was little to no clear of the vertical from Chaos. They didn't try to go upstairs. They had a little bit of a presence in Aquarium, which ended up accomplishing nothing. From there, it was just a push onto site. Chaos got a little too distracted, I think, and yeah, well, Blaz on the top floor managed to work that vertical presence and advantage. Also, and I feel like a broken record, the reason those marks were coming out and the reason the initial plant was denied was thanks to a yokai drone. And the reason there was a yokai drone on site to deny that plant and then give the info later in the round is because there wasn't an IQ. So,
I mean, the Twitch did put in a valiant effort.
got one of them.
But that was it.
Yeah, and that's not enough.
Echo has 2 of them now.
Which makes him very powerful. Some might even say exceptionally powerful.
Oh, okay.
Penta going to be going to Hookah as their next bomb site. It's good that they managed to win that double bar for them, as it seemed like it was pretty close. I don't see Penta venturing to double bar again. Maybe, maybe not, but I don't know. It looked like that was very close to being a Chaos round. You'll note that there is still not an IQ on Chaos. But I'm just not going to mention that for the rest of the match.
I think you can bring it up if it becomes particularly relevant in a specific moment, right?
No, I'm just going to stay away. You do it.
Okay, I'll mention it. Don't worry. If it does rear its head.
Yeah. South office control being a focus here for both teams.
It's the position that we saw the Clash playing from above, but now there's no Clash this time. In fact, it's Ravon on the Legion, and now enemy on the Jaeger. Blast has changed, and it's been a lot of different members of Penta who have all kind of recycled their roles and made the choice to swap off. Still, this South Office control, as you mentioned, is just being held so strongly by Penta. No amount of drones that Chaos throws at it, they seem to be able to do much. His enemy is still there. There's no Zofia on the board, and really nothing barring a frag grenade that can really stop the Jaeger. But no, it's an SMG-11 that will do it. It completely obliterates enemy. Will give Chaos control of the South Office. Not too far off, though, is Blast, who will have to worry about being pressured in security from both the main lobby as well as South Office. It's going to hold a position that we often see a Legion play. Ravon is nowhere nearby to really be able to assist. He's got a good view of Courtyard, but that'll really be it. Seeing if anybody's going to push on in, Ravon might make his exit from the Sunrise Bar. And if Renewals had held on that angle for just a little bit longer, he might have actually been able to see Ravon through the Sunrise door.
Blaz still in that South office. He's rotated out of security to get this control, and Chaos gave it up for some reason, and it's going to cost them. As Vital goes down, so does Renewals. Penta find themselves in a great spot. Blast is going to be refragged by Red Group, who is just behind Vito after the sledge went down. But this is a hookah defense right now, and Chaos are far from the site. Well, they have managed to get a little bit of control and keep it nice and even at a 3-3. it's still looking pretty desperate here for the attacking side as we come down to the last 25 seconds. Crip's also on very low HP, so he's likely not to win the next gunfight he enters into. It's going to be an aquarium take, but Penta know they can deny this using the gas canisters from the smoke. These Habana holes might be huge for the attack, and Serbas is going to take down Secretly, who's attempting to flank the defense, but it's an easy lockout here for Penta, using all of their utility and positional advantage.
Speaking of that word utility, how little of it was available on that south office push onto enemy when he was playing the Jaeger. You really had 3 people droning in, 1 person, which ended up being the Sledge, who did collect the kill, but then that was really it. You didn't have a lot of presence there. Tag and Blast, he gets a kill onto the Sledge, throws the C4 up, almost gets Crips in the process above him inside of Aquarium. And a lot of that control that Chaos needed, they weren't able to get. They're a bit utility starved. Zofia, possibly a Kappa Tau, they could go quite the distance to be able to track down these members of Penta, but there's plenty of opportunity for Chaos to swap things up. For the time being, they're going to stick with the same lineup that they've been running quite a bit here. Lots of fragging potential, but outside of that, not a ton to really pin people down, outside of maybe the Nomad.
Yeah, I think the operator selection for Chaos right now is probably their biggest threat. Fighting themselves a little bit there. Light on specific kinds of utility, but also just light in general, as you said. But it's still possible to make it work. We've talked about this before, and you even brought it up, I think, as we were loading into the match. Coastline is one of those maps that requires less utility than most, but more specifically, hard destruction. And I can understand the lack of that. That makes sense here. Anyway, moving on from that conversation, we're going to be going to Penthouse, it seems, for Penta. And a site that is actually, I think, shunned by many teams. Put in a corner and said, no, we don't want to play you. We'll go ahead and go to Kitchen instead. But not so for Penta here. Curious to see. Especially considering the Mira is banned out. Heard a few people say is Mira available? Sure, go to Penthouse. She's not available? Okay, go to Kitchen.
That's why Penthouse's pick rate has been so low.
Yeah.
She gets banned here quite a lot.
And despite that, Penthouse. Oh, look at this. Secretly has isolated one of the many runouts on this map, but one of the more powerful ones from Hookah. An enemy is, in fact, setting up to use. Thing is, though, the way that he did that, I feel as though it's not going to be hard for the defender to shoot that air jab.
Providing he sees it, which
I have to imagine he's going to, right?
it's in plain sight. But no, enemy won't see it. He'll get knocked down and have to go right back in. There you go. Seeing it in action perfectly from above is that will stop enemy for the time being, but allow Secretly to be aware that enemy is positioned inside of Hookah still.
In any other world, without a Nomad, either you have to have an attacker watch that flank for the entirety of your presence on that balcony, or you just lose somebody. Serbas going to miss some important shots there, and Secretly barely alive.
I believe that there's not a place that can go. I mean, I'd have to be 100% certain, but to the best of my knowledge, there's no place for you to put a Claymore there without it getting shot, because there's the table in the way, right?
Yeah.
So Secretly will start things off, though, and take out enemy. This was an altercation that had started just earlier. You know that Vitalin sees a body of the Maestro. What a shot from Serbas, though, as the Maestro will have his revenge. And both teams will find themselves battling with one man down. Enemy will not be on the board. That's the Doc gone, and Secretly is so low on HP that it, for the time being, might as well be a 4v3. Should Secretly even get hit by one bullet, that's death for the Nomad. Just a minute to go. Blast will get back into the site. He sits inside of Theater, looking all the way down to Penthouse, and he's going to take Secretly out. There wasn't really much left to deal with. This will mean that the rest of Chaos will have to get towards the site in a hurry. Red Groove on what a lot of people might refer to as a suicide mission. See, repels on in, and he gets taken out. Say goodbye to Red Groove. There's Blast with yet another. Where is Blast coming from? This is quite the performance so far. He's got 3 kills on the round, and Crips down below. Well, he's going to be finished off by somebody here on Penta, surely, and it's Ravon around the corner. 3 perfect rounds for Penta. Doesn't matter where they go, they're going to win them. Double bars, Hookah, and Penthouse now all in the win column for Penta. They complete the rotation. They can go back to the double bars if they want to. Chaos are struggling to find themselves on the board.
That's the elusive full split there with 3. You don't get that very often. Going to be going back to the double bars, so I was wrong. Clearly, Penta are confident in this site. Chaos managed to come close last time we went here to winning the round, but in the end, their lack of focus on the top floor allowed Blast in tandem with the Yokai drone to deny the plant from above. Didn't even need any prepped holes. So, Chaos going to need to clear out the top floor before they attack the actual site this time around, or I'm sure they will meet a similar fate, especially considering they are using a similar operator lineup.
Exactly the same lineup for Chaos as well.
Yeah.
At what point do you change it up?
This right here, actually, well, I'd say maybe 2 rounds ago. I would say after the first round when you figured out what you needed and didn't have.
Is it utility that's necessarily the problem, though, with
partially, but
Chaos,
also
and how much of it is just poor coordination?
Poor coordination, also losing gunfights. I mean, what did Blaz do in that last round other than just peek a lot of the basic angles from Karaoke? I mean, I don't know. I feel like, or not Karaoke, rather movie theater. I feel like it's a combination of a few things. Big part of it, not winning gunfights on the side of Chaos. Good gunplay from Penta to counter, of course, they're making that even harder. But poor coordination is definitely apparent. A lack of focus too on what you need to accomplish. Like for example, if Chaos had just cleared the top floor, then we wouldn't be talking about their operator selection. Clear out the top floor. You've got the fragging potential. We know that that's definitely an option on this map.
Oh no.
He got it though.
There you go. You got it.
We know that fragging potential is is an option on this map especially, but it's not working out right now for Chaos.
Renewals is knocking at the door of service entrance. See that for Penta, they've once again brought this clash and is a lineup that is very similar to what they saw last time that paid so much success. It's going to be a very similar entry as well for Chaos this time, as they'll just hold down the few flank routes that you can see all the way towards 90, which is where Secret currently sits. For people curious, most spots that are referred to as 90 are because it's a 90-degree angle. Most of the time there tends to be a camera above it.
Yeah.
That's exactly where we saw Secretly playing. A lot of other people have called it Jaeger spot, because there's usually a Jaeger who will play there, but I mean 90 is just easier. A tussle between Blas and Vitaline will net neither a single bullet on its intended targets. And this escort from enemy will walk Blas back down towards the site. I can't get over how close Renewals is here to actually being able to pressure onto the kitchen. The Twitch is doing a lot of work solo, but will now have to confront the clash. His bullets will be bouncing off of that CCE shield and doing no damage to the operator behind it.
Vertical presence here established for Chaos, and Penta's just falling back. I'm amazed that we've had 2 minutes transpire and not a single point of damage on any player so far through this round. Despite that fact, Chaos still have the vertical presence. So it's a well-coordinated round so far from Chaos, but the first kill will go the way of Penta. Ravon inside a kitchen, eliminating Renewals. It's a great job there to the mute. And now, Penta, with only 45 seconds to hold out, are finding themselves in a great spot. Crips will eliminate Blaz, though. It's just about an even exchange. Damage done, but not nearly as much on the side of the Jaeger. Enemy going to be working his way up the cool vibe stairs. He's just trying to distract the Ash, allowing for this push from Ravon, allowing him to get his second kill as well on top of that. Secretly is going to take down Ravon, though, so no more for him. Hungry onto Secretly. It's an instant refrag, and that was just inside of the kitchen. Serbas playing deep inside will do his darndest to deny the plant. It's going to be on Red Groove to get that plant, and Vito to cover. When Vito goes down, very little HP, and it's going to be Red Groove to follow swiftly after. Penta take their 4th round in a row.
This is quite the performance from Penta so far. Not something that you can necessarily just chalk up to the fact that it's a defender-sided map, it's an attacker-sided map. It's not really the way that it works. So
I also don't think we're in that kind of meta right now.
I think that we've probably seen more of a return to the norm, at least so far, with attackers having more advantages.
Yeah.
We'll see as time goes on. You know, what they refer to as the QEC meta. Lean spamming has been nerfed quite significantly, and on the TTS right now, it also appears that crouch spamming has been changed too.
Really?
Something worth looking at. Yep. On the TTS right now, actually, feel free, if you're on PC, to go and install it. There's also the changes to Lion, and also some minor tweaks to Capitao as well.
Was it a slow crouch or?
I'm not entirely certain. I just remember seeing people discussing that it had been changed.
Well, I'll have to check that out sometime. Sounds really interesting, and it's great to see that we're going in the right direction. Yeah, we already got the QE change, like you said, and that was fantastic in of itself. Now, back to Hookah. How many perfect halves have we been seeing so far this season? I feel like not many.
Just to jump in here for just a second, production is telling us that apparently the animation for crouching has changed on the player's side.
Is that what it is?
So it looks different now.
No.
I mean, the big issue with leaning used to be that how different you looked when you leaned. Your head would move all over the place, right? Whereas they just changed the way that you...
They also
so subtly. So
they
thank you, production.
said something about changing the position of the camera in the head.
That is correct.
When leaning, so instead of it being on the side of your head, it's in the middle, which makes sense.
You said how many perfect sides have we seen? Well, of the matches that you and I have casted so far, this is our third time casting
In this second half.
This second half. And in the Empire Chaos matchup, we came close, but that was it. Technically, Secret had a perfect half, but they only played 3 rounds. Technically, EXG had a perfect half against Rec, and they only played 3 rounds.
Perfect 6.
6 through 6, it doesn't really happen all that infrequently. You know, if you go all the way back to the Invitational, as I can just gesture towards my notebook here, I have yet to see it going all the way back through the group stages.
That's pretty...
At least from what I recorded in this book.
Seems pretty uncommon. Secretly is going to take down Ravon, and enemy will refrag.
So here's a change that we've seen from Chaos. They put Secretly off of the Nomad and onto a Zofia. That disruption, I think, is something that has been so desperately needed on Chaos' side of things. And whether Secretly was able to use the lifeline to be able to secure that very first kill, I don't really know. But Secretly is running the LMG instead of that her traditional assault rifle, which is something that a couple teams have done. Vaguely remember Shuttle running it on Space Station / on Rogue. So that's a change that I think will work for the better for Chaos. But it also came down to the fact that it looked like Penta got really aggressive, and that brazenness that comes with a team with a massive advantage needs to be snuffed out, lest you end up giving up the momentum you have. 2 kills from Penta on the board, traded off by Vitaline, and both teams now and a 2v2 with half of the round to go. It's been a frenetic pace. It's all up to Secretly and Vitaline. Utility operators at their core, Sledge with soft destruction and possibly some frag grenades. No lifelines have been used from Secretly. And of course, you've got 2 of the best operators left to hold against this attacking force in both a smoke and an echo.
It's definitely a good spot for both teams. Best spot we've seen Chaos in quite a while. Holding onto the bottom floor control was a great job from Penta, but now all they need to do is wait and hold on to the site. Sir Boss is going to have to challenge Secretly, and it's the lifeline that might be his undoing. Big missed shots there from Sir Boss as the lifeline came up, but he won't miss the follow-up as Secretly goes down. It's all up to Vito, and he will be eliminated by Hungry. Penta take yet another round. That's 5 in a row.
It came close, and I like the change that Chaos made. I think that they were benefiting a bit from Penta just playing so aggressively and getting up in the face of Chaos, and Chaos landing their shots very well. The story in the matchup last week in the Chaos Empire showdown on Oregon was not just that you're playing Empire on their best map, but we remarked in the broadcast, Chaos was missing a lot of shots. They've been doing a lot better here against Penta. They've been actually connecting, and they've been taking the fight to Penta and being able to hit the shots they need. Chaos, I think their biggest stumbling block was they needed more utility. I like the Zofia pick. I think it really helps this team, but the utility that came out from Chaos was too late. It was a 2v2, and Zofia had not pulled the trigger on either her concussions or her impacts coming out of that lifeline. You need to be able to use that to help either your entry or possibly help on a site execute. We did eventually see the concussion used on the stairs, of cool vibes, but Sir Boss ended up getting the kill that was needed. Ending up shutting down the Zofia's entry. Through 5 rounds, I think the scoreboard tells a pretty good story too. You just bring it up for just one more second here. Quite the disparity.
Yeah, you could see currently Chaos was just struggling really hard to find themselves on board.
12 kills over 5 rounds is extremely inefficient. And it's something that any team will struggle to be able to net round victories with.
11 kills in the top 2 performers for Penta. It's a struggle. You're right. And, well, Penta are taking full advantage. They only need one more round for a perfect half. As we said, something that you don't see very often. And they'll be going to Penthouse to attempt that. Their second time here. And if they take it, their second full 3 rounds in a row, successful. Full rotations, I think is what we should call them. Rotations? No?
Rotations.
Well, full site rotation. Successful.
Yeah. We need a different word for that, though, because I think when we say rotation, a lot of people assume it rotates.
Yeah, I mean, site rotation? Or full...
I call it the cycle.
And I like to call it the cycle, too, but I feel like...
They complete the cycle.
They complete the cycle, yeah.
Oh, no.
Just go with that. That's a Twitch drone down. That's a lot of utility gone. I'm surprised he didn't see the mute. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
No!
Secretly. Do you not see the man? He was there! The maestro was there!
Sir Boss is very lucky to have gotten away with his life. That is an unfortunate mishap there from Secretly. He did see his leg for a little bit, but did not register that it was indeed a leg.
Tough to possibly have that go down that way, because that is a really good opportunity to break this round open. You take the Evil Eyes out of play, you take one of the best guns in the entire game out of play. Speaking of out of play, Enemy almost goes down, but luckily for him, well, he's got stim pistols to be able to will himself back to life. Gets back up to 75 HP, as Chaos are unsuccessful in this entry. Secretly has moved all the way around now to the main stairs. He'll head down towards 90, which will alert Blast, playing just nearby, of presence from somebody on Chaos's side of things. Down goes Secretly. That Zophia's utility has not really been super effective at all, but Renewals will trade off Sir Boss. So both teams will lose something, and finally Sir Boss, who lived a lot longer than we expected, will find his end. Blast goes down 2 as there's Crips to be able to eliminate 1 in this perfect round that Penta is hoping for. Looks like it might not be a sure thing. Enemy still has another stim pistol if he wants to use it, but he doesn't employ it as it's Renewals who will kick things off. Closing in on the site is Chaos, with Hungary and Revan in a 2v4. This is a difficult spot for Penta to be able to get themselves out of, and very minimal opportunity for them to play it right. This looks like Chaos might be able to finally find their first round here. They've got 30 seconds with to work, and they're in sight. There goes Red Groove going for the plant. He gets taken out by Revan. Ravon will get that kill, rather. And that means Red Groove down. Somebody will now be tasked with picking up that diffuser. It's all up to Hungry. He still has the ability to get marks down as Revan falls. Hungry comes on in. Heads into VIP, thinks otherwise of it. There's going to be one body on flank watch with the SMG-11. Hungry needs to be able to land these shots. He makes a little bit of noise. He sees the leg. He'll connect onto the Ash. Actually, looks like he missed completely, rather. But his position is known. There's going to be the Twitch coming up just behind him, and there you go. Chaos will finally find themselves on the board. It took 6 rounds. But they will not allow their opponents to have a perfect game. With Chaos now moving on to defense. Is this going to be that Coastline is just more defender-sided, and Chaos can run up the score and be able to catch Penta?
No.
Or was that a flash in the plan? Flash in the pan. Could also be a flash in the plan of Penta.
Sure.
6 of them.
So, no, I think the way what we were saying there was a couple different things, okay? Coordination on the side of Chaos, not fantastic. Penta really landing their shots, Chaos not so much. Also, and this is something we haven't really been pointing out, the setups from Penta have been pretty creative, I think is the word I would like to point out, use to describe this. Penta, for example, a few rounds ago when they were holding on to, I believe it was a double bar or hookah? No, it was hookah. They were holding on to Office, just trying to have some vertical control, a roam in Office. They were using the drone hole from hookah's site, opening up the floor in Aquarium and looking straight down to assist in that hole. And it actually ended up working out for Penta and getting them some kills in that. In that last round, we saw a really sweet setup. I love what they were doing on 90 to hold on to Penthouse, where they opened up holes allowing for the smoke to plant or deny the default spot by window. These holes in the walls that we're looking at right now. That was a really nice setup there. They also had a shield to support the smoke, allowing for him to play on 90 and not worry about VIP pressure. They were also really focused on control of luggage and main lobby. So I loved the setup from Penta in the last round. I love the setup, a lot of the stuff they were doing just in general in that first half defensively. And on top of all of that, they were winning all of their gunfights, almost all of their gunfights, it felt like.
It was Renewals on the Twitch that was actually very effective as well, and has been a real standout for Chaos. There's been some missed opportunities for a number of different Chaos players, but Renewals has been particularly good, hitting his shots, using the Twitch drone to great effect. I think is a big focus now on defense as Maestro in order to give his team a chance to be able to close this gap. Penta ran up, blew wide open through that first half.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hookah defense for Chaos here. Very similar lineup in a lot of ways on defense to what we've seen out of Penta, but for Penta's attacking lineup, there's a lot of variances. Very first kill is going to be on the Hungry. He was looking above, didn't look below, and it was Secretly there who's able to get the kill, and Sir Boss is next on deck. Almost gets the kill from Secretly yet again. He's going to be under fire from multiple angles. This might be very difficult for the Legion to get out of.
Some really poor droning there for Penta. Bad information. And that's going to allow for not only a kill, but delay and a little bit of damage onto Sir Boss. If Secretly can get out of that situation right now, then it's a huge loss for Penta. Drone out the Jaeger, though, in kitchen. That call is relayed to enemy, who should be in a position to receive the kill. Plays it correctly. Air jab going to the Sunrise bar, and it might have been shot, but Laz will land his own shots, and it's going to get the kill. Enemy will also take out Crypt, so no refrag there from the Jaeger. Renewals, though, will correct that mistake on the side of Chaos by refragging himself. Coming down the cool vibe stairs. Almost gets one onto enemy as well, but not quite. Vaughn eating a lot of damage from these gas canisters and bullets alike, as he's put down to about 25 HP. Still plenty of time here for Penta, but low on HP.
I really like the control that Chaos has for the time being. It's going to be very difficult for Penta to be able to open this up, especially given that enemy is now going to be utility starved. You've got hard breaches on Sir Boss, but they can't go on the ceiling above you. You do have the secondary shotgun of Ravon if need be on the Jackal, but it's not necessarily the best tool here. There goes Sir Boss, as Red Groove finds a very important frag. He'll take out the IQ. Ravon doesn't have very much HP left, and enemy on this window is going to be very exposed. There's opportunity for a run out. Renewals will command the cool vibe stairs, and Ravon winning his shot, so that PDW is so strong in the hands of Ravon. Not a lot of time left. 10 seconds to go. Jackal visor out. Can you see where Chaos is? Well, there's Red Groove taking a lot of damage. There's only the smoke left. Vitaline is down. Where's Red Groove? Peeks in the corner, and a big clutch from the Mute as the smoke is felled. And Chaos picks up their second round in a row. They desperately needed the first, and they desperately needed the second as well. Red Groove coming in big for those 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely huge there from Red, and like you said, much needed win for Chaos. It seemed, though, like Penta was going to somehow bring that back from the brink of defeat. Just didn't happen. Great job there to Chaos for managing to lock it out in the end. Biggest part of that for me has to be the challenge inside of Sunrise Bar and the fact that we saw Secretly delay for so long as well as getting the kill.
More of those rounds for Chaos, please.
Yeah. Honestly, though, that was still very close. Now, despite the fact that they did win it, it came down to the wire. And I feel like at any moment, Penta could have sprung back and won that one. But finally, Chaos are starting to win their gunfights. As you can see, Renewals is having a good match himself. We'll be going to the double bar here for the next attempted defense from Chaos. They have a 100% win rate on defense so far, so that's pretty good. We have been seeing a little bit more of a defender-sided setup on this match in particular. It happens. I don't think it has anything to do with the map.
There's an ebb and flow to it, right?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is honestly just the teams who are playing each other right now. And I honestly expect at some point Penta to start breaking away with this match. We'll see, though.
Momentum comes and momentum goes, right?
It's true.
You've taken one of the best tools that Penta had on attack in the Ying, and you've banished it for the rest of the round.
Yeah, having Hungry on that Ying would have been, I'm sure, a very powerful weapon. The setup here is perfect to get a kill onto Jaeger if Blast can land his shots, and he will. Crips goes down. Excellent gunplay there from Blast.
That was very well coordinated, and that wasn't a breaching charge that Blast had on the window either, so it was somebody else who was able to put that one down. I would suspect it was probably Sir Boss's IQ who was able to do that, and then you just have the well-coordinated push up onto that tarp, and it was indeed Sir Boss who's able to get that window open, that castle barricade. So one piece of utility from Secretly will no longer be there. Still some pings that will give Blast this information here on the tarp. Becomes painstakingly close. Ravon will get Penta's second kill on the Vitaline, the Mute, tossing away his life just a little bit too brazenly. This Legion is hard to find, and that will prompt Penta to have to rotate after losing both Hungry and Enemy. So Chaos will counterpunch, and their punch will land both times. If you look at the utility that's gone, it's got to benefit Chaos to a certain extent. Another from Chaos, as this is Sir Boss failing to capitalize, walking into the bar. But the bartender's busy, and there's nobody to take his order. Sir Boss now has a rotate hole that he can possibly walk in through. There's two bodies. He just can't connect. He'll light up the Legion and light up the smoke, but both are still alive. Down goes Sir Boss to Secretly, and Blast, who started things off for Penta. We'll have to finish them. 3 bodies from Chaos. This is Chaos riding the ship here, I think.
Certainly is. Blast has the low-capacity assault rifle here on Nomad, the ARX 200. He sees the smoke and really wants this kill, but just inches away from securing it. Might be going for a different angle at this point.
It was frustrating me to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Sure, it was frustrating for him.
It was definitely not easy. It's like you see Renewal's looking for a fight from below. Curious that he's going for that. Little piece of knowledge acquired from everybody watching. You can use that breaching charge there to get an angle onto Bar. Blast is not able to get the kill, though, with said angle. He's going to go back to the original one and just narrowly misses out on some shots there. So close, and the follow-up will be his demise. Chaos put 3 in a row.
Smile.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Good game sense there.
Blast's good game sense to open up the floor as well was strong, but then you had the smoke as well to be able to out-game sense the game sensor.
I feel as if he had just held the angle, the initial one, for maybe 10 more seconds. Had a chance there. I mean, he had a whole minute to work with as the last one alive, and all 3 of the defenders were somewhat lit. Not enough, though. We'll be going to Kitchen next.
They're in a position to be able to put their own rotation, or cycle, rather, here into effect.
Yeah. Wait.
We've actually seen a lot of perfect rotations today.
Perfect cycle.
Cycle, yeah. Empire did it against Na'Vi on Consulate. G2 did it against Mouse on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Penta did it against Chaos on Coastline.
We've also, as you said in the break, we've also not seen any draws yet.
No draws, that's true.
7-2, 7-3, 7-5. Well, we're shaping up for a potential comeback here from Chaos at this point, the way that these rounds have been going. Said 3 in a row, and they also looks like have the only attacking win, which is, you know, they're down 3-5, but Chaos have the only attacking win. Good on them. They'll be going to, again, the Kitchen, which is the first time we've gone to Kitchen so far in this match. Just was not what Penta wanted to defend.
Swapping bags.
The tarp play from Blast, by the way, is somewhat new. They've tried to patch out the ability to get onto that tarp so many times.
You could still do it from the roof, I think.
I don't know if you can do it from the roof anymore. I think that was the most recent one that was fixed, but
Was it like fixed within the last patch?
I'm not sure. But I
'Cause
do know there was a video actually that went by recently, which is exactly what just happened, which is where you vault up on the pool side and you just walk up the tarp.
I seem to remember you just, like, within the last couple weeks, you used to be able to just vault on the roof and just run up there.
Thunder's next.
Maybe they fixed that, though.
Possibly. 1 minute into play right now, and the footprints of the Legion. Fred Gru gets spotted just inside of the pool table over by Billiards. The rest of Penta will try to pinch him out. You can hear that there's multiple bodies, and Red Groove is not long for this earth. That's hungry, but he gets immediately traded off by Crips. The Jaeger was not what Penta was anticipating as they managed to track down the Legion. Playing very conveniently in 90, as I mentioned, often referred to as Jaeger spot. With an ADS there, and it'll eat one of the smoke grenades. Crips will be provoked. Pop out of his hole, waiting to possibly see if somebody's going to be over on luggage side. Crips will now head on into theater. Keep in mind that this is a kitchen defense downstairs, and there's a lot of reinforcements, mute jammers, and ADSs being used upstairs in both penthouse and theater to stop the attacker's advance.
Boss trying to pinch this Jaeger, propelling above the main lobby stairs. Penta are doing their best to dislodge Crips, but he's in a tricky spot. Difficult to deal with, and there's a challenge from the main stairs here. As you can see, secretly trying to assist his teammate hold that rush from luggage, and it does not seem that Penta are aware of this. Renewals also gets blast, so it's a couple kills here for Chaos, but a double for Sir Boss before secretly is able to refrag. Ravon in a 1 versus 2, but that double gonna make this a lot more plausible of a round for Penta. Still got to retrieve the diffuser. 30 seconds, though, to work with. No smokes available, but he's got the Inox, and that's going to be such a powerful tool in a 1 versus 2. Starts the first tick, detecting secretly inside of security, but comes off the angle with the smoke just at the wrong moment, and no damage dealt to Renewals. Sees the marks, knows he has to challenge this cross, will challenge, and gets a few shots on the Maestro, but it's not enough. Ravon just not sticking to his angles. Secretly is going to shut him down. Chaos put 4 in a row.
Our 4th perfect cycle of the day.
Yeah, and we're getting pretty close to 5 in a row, answering 5 in a row.
Now, how much of this is Chaos, in your opinion? How much of this is Chaos picking it up? How much of this is Penta falling off? Versus the maps, just balance.
I'm going to drop the map balance by the wayside because I feel like that's just an endless circle of a conversation. When it comes to the momentum on Chaos and Penta, I feel like, honestly, it's mostly Chaos picking it up. They started to frag. They started to win their fights. There's a little bit more surety in the way that they're playing with each other. For example, secretly there on the main stairs, he denied the initial push from luggage, and then he got the refrag after Sir Boss got that double kill. That's huge. The fact that he didn't just let that IQ stay alive, persist, and then start going for more kills. If that had been a 2 versus 2, I think that Penta would have been able to take that. So to me, it's less Penta starting to falter, more Chaos finally waking up.
And I mentioned Renewals on that Twitch. I mentioned his contributions, and he has been just as good on defense. Has looked like $1 million so far in this matchup. Chaos doesn't usually have a particular standout performer. I know that when this roster added Red Groove, who for those that were around back then, know that Red Groove used to play on the roster that is now Team Empire. Added Red Groove, there was quite a lot of fanfare over Red Groove's potential as a player, but Renewals has been so rock steady so far. This is a very interesting decision. He gets detected, though, so a bit of a mistime.
It was really poorly timed.
Very poorly timed, and gives his position away. That will at least slow down Penta to a certain extent. And actually, Renewals was going for a second spawn peak. Oh! Hungry will find his seat at the poolside bar as Renewals will show him the door. Oh my goodness.
That was a very nice shot there from Renewals.
Beautifully done.
And that's going to put Chaos, I think, soundly in a 5-round-in-a-row streak.
It's going to empower Crips as the Jaeger because now you don't have to worry about the frag grenades coming in, which will likely get burned out by enemy, which means that the Zofia fodder for those ADSs will now be used a little bit more critically, but more importantly, those ADSs can possibly grab the air jabs, as well as the double smokes from Ravon as well. Those 2 frag grenades being in play or out of play will completely change the way that Penta is able to make this push, and importantly, will also eliminate the best pressure that Penta could have put underneath the site with the buck gone.
Yeah, you can stop worrying about grenades now. Aquarium control here for Penta. Got the smoke grenades here, so they could pretty easily isolate the site and go for a plant. Got a Maestro, gas canisters, and C4 all to counter that, though. So Chaos, plenty of denial. They're not feeling pressured from their flanks right now. Curious that we don't see Blaz going for the tart play to try and maybe have some flank potential and just disrupt the players inside of B and allow for an easier push into A, but no, it's just going to be a straight aquarium push. Crips still pretty far in a roam. The side pressure is mounting here from Penta, but they haven't committed fully, and they're going to need to decide what they're going to go for here soon. They've only got so many smokes. In fact, likely only one, if even one. They've already expended one of them in a fake out.
Crips takes out Blast as there's an air jab in perfect effect. Oh no. Rules is not able to hit the shots, but a huge C4 from Red Groove. The mute will show his head, and Chaos have tied it up 5-5. This is the comeback of the century here from the Swedes. What a round.
Yeah. Great round there from Chaos. The way that that C4 was positioned, the fact that Crips managed to get a flank kill despite the Nomad, truly surprising, I have to say. Overall, the setup there from Chaos, really great. Lots of denial. And this round specifically, I would attribute more to Penta than Chaos. I would say Penta played it pretty poorly. They didn't have anything going other than just a straight aquarium push. Nothing else. And yeah, you need a little bit more diversity in your strategy. You have to have some kind of counter punch once the once the enemy starts throwing their own punches. But not what we saw from Penta. They just tried to go for a plant with an abundance of denial is still in play. Unfortunate to see. Renewal's really coming into his own, as you can see here clearly.
7 assists as well, largely because those Evil Eyes will tase people just a little bit and give you the assist, as well as the Twitch drones doing the same thing on attack.
So one attacking round successful so far through this match. It was Chaos's round. It was the last attacking round Chaos had. And now we find ourselves 5-5. Both teams having won 5 in a row. The question is, can Penta break the mold? Or is this Chaos's?
Only a few moments ago where you were saying, oh, we appear to have exited the defensive meta.
I seriously don't...
These are not the rounds you're looking for.
I seriously don't think that it actually has anything to do with the map.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think this is a map thing. I think this is just a formula of two teams that happen to be really good on defense for this map and seemingly don't have well-made strategies for it. Attack.
Smart play by Chaos here. We saw Crips was playing inside of Hookah last time around. When the castle barricade broke, Wasp basically got a freebie. Not to be had there, as Crips is very, very far away from Hookah. And in fact, Hookah is actually completely clear for Penta, and they will likely soon realize this so they can begin their advance. Crips is on Cool Vibe stairs, so he's within striking distance of anybody who finds themselves in Hookah, but he's not going to be in the epicenter, so to speak.
This is going to be to clear out... Oh, Crips.
Right on Cool Vibe stairs.
Yep.
People who don't know, there is a drone hole above you on Cool Vibe stairs.
Yep. So I was going to say it's to clear out Crips, and it totally did. That was an accurate prediction on my part. Just calling that right now. It also clears out barbed wire.
Also Crips.
Yeah, and Crips.
There's always a cruel sense of irony when a Jaeger dies to an ADS.
An ADS, yeah.
Or no, a frag grenade. All right, listen, Michael.
It's been a day.
96% full moon today, okay?
96% full moon,
4% not full moon.
Don't
right?
forget.
Don't forget.
No. So, Chaos now, having lost a man, the streak might be broken. These early picks have been influencing the rounds quite a lot, more so than usual, I would say.
How funny is it that the same thing that happened is now happening again? 5 consecutive rounds by Penta. Chaos breaks the stalemate. Chaos has now put together 5, and it might be Penta who's able to do this. I'm not jinxing it.
Don't do it.
I'm not jinxing it. I'm just saying that we are looking at a mirror lineup here, because it's 5 rounds and then a loss. So you're able to win 5 rounds, and that's about it. The real question is, if Penta wins this round, do they keep it going? Well, Chaos is hoping not. There's Vitaline, takes out Ravon, and Sir Boss going for the plant, but is there the information there? Is Sir Boss going to be able to get away with this? Nobody seems to know, and Sir Boss will walk away with a successful defuse. Secretly runs out, and there's 2 from Chaos, leaving Sir Boss to guard like a mother hen over his diffuser nest that he has planted inside of the Sunrise Bar. He's got the commando, he'll get 1 kill, but no! Swiftly shut down by Secretly, who will pop on up, and both the Echo and the Castle will survive for the time being, and Chaos will secure themselves 1 point, and that's 6 rounds in a row. The best opportunity for Penta to be able to win a victory or to win a round victory, and it will not happen. Falls just short. Sir Boss tried.
The curse is broken! Good job to Chaos, though, seriously. And they find themselves right now pretty low on the standings for Europe. So even that 1 point, if this turns into a draw, huge for Chaos. They need everything they can get out of this, especially considering they're playing against, again, at the start of the day, 3rd place Penta. So 1 more round from Chaos. That would be 7 rounds in a row, and they get 3. Distancing themselves as much as possible from the bottom of the European standings, and specifically Secretly. And Na'Vi.
Yeah.
Actually, both Secret and Na'Vi, the 2 teams underneath Chaos right now.
It's 1 point of breathing room.
Yeah. Like I said, every single point that Chaos gets, huge. The fact that this is a draw, at the least, huge.
Not great for Penta, because even if Penta bounces back in this round and secures themselves 1 point, they still lose out on the gap that is widening between them and the teams above them. They came in today with only 2 teams above them. They were on the bubble of making it in. Now, I think they started the day at just 1 or 2 points back of Lestream, if I remember correctly. That has now grown by 3, and at best might only grow by 2, depending on the way that this round goes. But we are in the end game of the season, or at least approaching it.
Yeah, and you know, the difference between these 2 teams right now is that Penta is playing for LAN, and Chaos is playing for top 4 at best, and staying away from relegations at worst.
I was going to say, Chaos right now is just fighting to nestle themselves into a comfortable middle, because it's still very possible for Chaos to make the postseason and make it to LAN.
True.
But it's unlikely, given the hole they found themselves in through the latter half. It's not impossible, it's just improbable, which is, I think, the way we say it. And Renewals, unable to control the recoil well enough. A repelled member of Penta. That'll be the Smoke, who will now walk away. Quite a bit of scars on his body in the kitchen.
Really good bit of damage done to Renewals by Blast. And now even more damage being done, but this time it's in the other direction. So Ravon is lit up there by Crips.
Penta has access over on that 2nd floor, over by Hookah, with Crips once again in this 90 spot. Oh, a beautiful shot on the Blast. Anticipating a second body to push over from Luggage. That's enemy. But Crips is just going to sit there, wait, and endure.
He's doing a lot of work right now. Not only getting that kill, but also wasting a lot of time.
It's going to be stacked with utility as well, with that ADS there just to possibly stop anybody from pushing him. Last time around, it was Ravon throwing the Smoke down.
That 1 kill still doing so much work, not only in the manpower, but also you can see how timid Penta are playing. They're just not so confident in taking these fights anymore.
I think Crips realized that it was a wise point in time for him to fall off and await the next push that might come on over from Luggage, which is where Enemy is positioned. But right now, Enemy doesn't have a drone. He's largely blind, and there's nobody there to really assist him. In fact, Penta haven't really discovered that the Jaeger has moved at all, because Hungry is still fighting a Phantom Force.
Yeah. Penta are a little fixated on the wrong points at this moment in time, and Vido is going to punish them for it. Ravon goes down, not secured, but down at least. Hungary's going to get Crips, though, so that's a really good kill. Shotgun out and a long angle challenge, and Hungary will punish Vido for trying to take that one. So here we go. Penta now with a man advantage if they can recover Ravon, and that seems likely.
He's upstairs. He's still got the smokes, but Hungary will be tasked on in, as the remaining members of Chaos will have time on their side. The other thing, too, for Penta, they'll be flying blind over the next 30 seconds with very minimal intel. Red Groove will command that main lobby and try to stop as many points of entry as possible from the rest of Penta. Losing some of their security will be Chaos, as that skeleton key from the Buck does great work. Renewal's waiting inside of Kitchen as multiple bodies from Chaos are spread out. None really in a position to refrag. But where is Penta? Here you go. A frag grenade gets tossed in. It will miss its mark. Chaos needs to hold on. There's no defuse going down. There's Sir Boss. All they need to do is stop one man as he goes for the plant. Renewals is so close. He'll rush in, and there you have it. He'll stop him in his tracks. Penta will choke a 5-1 lead, and Chaos put 7 rounds in a row in one of the most impressive comebacks that we have seen in Pro League this season, and a huge victory for the Swedish team of Chaos Esports Club.
Jeez, what a comeback there from Chaos. And how does it happen that you lose a 5